What's up, everyone, and welcome to the Quick Diz Takes podcast, episode number 48, where we will discuss the exciting, the amazing Seven Dwarfs Mine Train and The Little Mermaid, Ariel's Journey Under the Sea, as we continue our attraction series. But first, before we get to that, we had a little news today. It has been official now that they will be making some changes to the Jungle Cruise. And I think most of us kind of realized a while ago that this was going to happen. But now we got the official word. So I guess the question I pose is, in what direction are they going with this? Are we going to see just the basic PC cleanup with kind of updating a few things, getting rid of a few things some or most consider a little racy, or is this going to be more of, that no matter what, that's going to be a thing. I'm pretty sure we both agree on that, but are they going to also spend a lot of time to go in the direction of making this copacetic with the movie and with The Rock? As far as following the plot of that movie and getting some things from that movie into the ride.
I think that was their initial plan. And I think maybe they're just prematurely putting this out there in anticipation of that, because the movie was supposed to be out already. So I don't see them really doing it in two stages, as making it, getting rid of, like the native parts of it, I guess, where they call them, the savages and all that stuff, and adding that stuff in. I would see them all doing that in one refurbishment. Maybe they will, just assuming that the movie's going to be somewhat of a hit, they're going to do it initially. But I think that, personally, I just think they're just throwing this out there so you're prepared for it when it does happen. Because I don't see them, I don't see them closing things and refurbishing stuff ahead of the 50th.
Okay, I agree with that. Are we going to get a rock animatronic in this ride, though?
Possibly, because if I was reading it, they said they're going that it's going to follow a storyline of some other. Because it didn't mention in the article an animatronic captain or skipper, something like that, if I remember reading it. So maybe that's what they meant by that. And you're going to see, I'm assuming, I can only assume what the movie's going to be about, but I'm assuming obviously something is going to go wrong with his boat. So maybe they're just going to follow that.
Okay. So I didn't read in detail the article as far as the animatronic. I didn't catch the animatronic pilot part, if that's, or skipper rather, if that's a thing. But if that's a thing, can we just throw that onto the list of things that Bob, that you could accuse Bob Chapek of doing to cut costs? I mean, what you got? He's just gonna make all the skippers animatronics now, so we don't have to pay them anymore too.
Okay, I found. Okay, I found what it says. Imagineers are addressing negative depictions of Native people while adding a humorous storyline that follows the adventure of a jungle cruise skipper, his passengers, and what has become of their boats and its contents. So maybe that's there.
Well, it's gonna follow the movie, I bet.
Yeah, and then it says timeline, obviously, and then has not been released. In addition to improvements of the storyline and cultural depictions, an animatronic skipper will get a new role. So I assume that would be The Rock. If I had to put money on it, I would assume that would be him.
Boy, this is not going to go over well. I mean,
If they put it in another boat, him, but I mean, they can't get rid of a live person in your boat.
Terrible. And I mean, fixing the Native American issues and all that stuff, I completely understand. That's fine. But I mean, and that's not a big, like, it's a big deal. But what I mean is it's not a difficult fix. They'll just do that, get that all shored up, no big deal. But to make this drastic move is going to be, I guess the one thing I'll say about Jungle Cruise is as time goes on, generations are probably, I guess you could make the argument that generations aren't really gonna, it's not really gonna bode well or hang on well or be as popular over time maybe. So maybe it is time in that regard to get a couple new things going on with that ride, but
All right, I don't know. I keep finding more stuff.
I hate to see. I don't want to be the guy who doesn't want change because I think change is always good, but I guess I have to see it. I don't know.
Yeah, it also says, we'll get to follow the skipper and his passengers as the journey goes awry. And then it says, for the first time ever, the skipper role will not only be that of a live, experienced, and witty guide, but also represented by a show figure within the attraction itself.
Okay, and assuming that's got to be The Rock.
Yeah, I guess it would be like the Johnny Depp type of thing, just throughout your journey.
I love that. I mean, assuming the movie's good and everything, it looks good. Yeah. Who knows? I mean, it does give us more context. It is just random right now, but I mean, it's nice to have. The thing is with Disney rides, it's nice to have the random rides though that are just unique to the park, and it's just another ride that's going to now be specific to an IP, if that's the case, which is what they're going for anyway, I suppose.
Yeah, and I mean, you always hear like when you talk to people who want to work at Disney, and that gold standard job is always, I'd love to be a jungle skipper, but now I don't know, is that going to be such a coveted job now that you have to follow a storyline within the ride instead of just following your own script where you can kind of go away, and I don't know.
Yeah, and then like the more you think about it, like with the script being approved for a new Haunted Mansion movie as well, I'm assuming that's going, like the Eddie Murphy one, and thank God, didn't get implanted into the attraction. I think the feedback on that movie wasn't good enough, but now I think definitely with this new one that's going to be coming out in the next, whatever it is, 5 years or so, is going to going to follow the same path. So I'm going to see a lot more of this. I know it kind of started in Epcot, and it's just going everywhere.
Yeah.
Which I mean, whatever. I mean, originally it was always a nice mix. Like they had IP stuff, which was fine, and they had some unique to the park things, which was good. And now you're just kind of getting, it's almost. I'm not sure you'll ever see anything open again that isn't directly corresponding to an IP or, a movie. Just
no.
I guess it just draws. I mean, the movies are made, so the movie gets made, and the movie makes money, and the movie then becomes a moneymaker plus free advertising. So
yeah,
it's a business plan for sure.
Yeah,
I get it.
Yeah,
especially for kids. I mean, your kids, you go there and you tell one of your kids that they're going to see Jungle Cruise, and they don't even know what that is, before the movie comes out, and it's just like whatever. But now they see the movie, they like the movie.
Yeah,
it's a lot more. It's an easy sell.
It gives you your association with everything. So
I hate to sigh on it, but it just is what it is. That's a tough ride. I mean, they already touched pirates. I mean, they've already delved into the sacred ground. So, do we get into Small World movie at some point?
Well, hopefully. I don't mind that because they can change that ride a little bit.
Yeah, I guess. But I can't even fathom what that movie would be like.
No, I see that people are already throwing a fit in the other, small world rides in the other parks where they added,
Characters.
Disney IP into the different countries.
Oh yeah, I'm surprised they haven't done that in Disney World yet.
Which I mean,
That makes
I don't know.
sense.
I don't think it was when I went to Disneyland. I don't think it was a change already. But in what I've seen, I don't have a problem with that. That's kind of just one little character. But
It's kind of reasonable, actually.
yeah,
I
the
don't
only
know.
thing we kind of got going for us is that the Haunted Mansion movie failed and the Tower of Terror movie failed. So they're not going to those won't be changed anytime soon.
The Tower of Terror, we never really had a chance. It was very. I mean, you've seen it.
No.
All right, so it's very low budget, and it was just straight to Disney Channel. I've seen it. It's not horrible. It's probably. I mean, in some ways, I might even say it's better than Haunted Mansion. But
I don't know. Steve Guttenberg, there's far and few between good movies with him, so I don't know.
well, once the '80s ended, Steve Guttenberg's appeal ended. So I don't know. But he was almost.
We watched the Big Green not that long ago. He was in that.
Not great. Not great. It's not the Ladybugs
No.
by any stretch of the imagination. But
That's an inappropriate movie nowadays, anyway.
I know, right? And it is too, because I've seen it recently, and it's hard to believe it's a kids' movie. Anyway, so yeah, that's the Jungle Cruise. That's what's going on with that, and I would imagine Jungle Cruise, Adventureland in general is just gonna have a different thing going on with it. 10 years from now, with the Jungle Cruise, and the Enchanted Tiki Room is. It's only a matter of time before that.
And I think that's probably one of the next lands to get a big overhaul because I think Swiss Family Robinsons. I mean, that can go. That's space, and Magic Carpets can go. I mean, there's room to do stuff there.
It's way too many spinners.
Yeah.
Parks. It's like, all right, double classic. I'll give you that.
Especially in the Magic Kingdom, there's 3.
Yeah, really. And I'll even let you get away with Astro Orbiters because it's kind of classic where it is. But it's like the Magic Carpets can just go. No one cares.
No. Plus,
imagine opening that space up too for traffic. It would just be so much better. They plopped that right in the middle of. They just bottlenecked Adventureland.
Yeah, and then especially with everybody getting Dole Whips behind it. That's just that little cut through to get. The cut through back there is all it's a weird spot.
It's a mess. And then like you said, Swiss Family Robinson Treehouse. Now if they get rid of that, I don't know how much space that would open. Because there is some space like behind it and stuff, but I was thinking about this the other day when I was watching some stuff about getting rid of rides. And like one of the big things about getting rid of rides, besides obviously looking at one and saying, hey, I don't like that ride anymore, I could just like to see something else there. Because what they were discussing, to put this in context, was like, if they had to get rid of one ride at Frontierland, would it be, I mean, the two mountains are pretty safe, so it kind of came down to like Tom Sawyer's Island and Country Bear Jamboree. And I was thinking to myself, I would get rid of Tom Sawyer's Island anyway, but let's just say, hypothetically, I like Tom Sawyer's Island better than Country Bear Jamboree. I would still want to get rid of Tom Sawyer's Island over it because there's space there for you could build an e-ticket attraction there.
Mm-hmm.
You get rid of Country Bear, I'm sure you can put together a nice show and put it in that space, don't get me wrong. But if you get rid of Tom Sawyer's Island, you're talking about probably something pretty cool. And I'd much rather see that. So I'd much rather see rides go, especially when they're able to be replaced by bigger and better, or at least good size e-ticket style rides.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. There's not a lot of room in Adventureland. It's not a ton of space.
No.
But you get two of the at the same time. It's a cool land. You get two of the classic attractions over there. Speaking of attractions, let's talk new Fantasyland. As a matter of fact, the more I think about this, instead of discussing Seven Dwarfs Mine Train and Little Mermaid, let's just talk about those rides incorporated in the new Fantasyland in general. So we can add quick little tidbits about the restaurant and story time with Belle, Enchanted Tales with Belle, if we feel the need as well.
Okay.
So we get this expansion, and I believe it's 2012. And I mean, first of all, just kind of quick question answer. Would you say it's a good expansion?
For what was there, for the purpose of getting people into queues and creating a couple more things for people to do, yes. I mean, I guess just from being a little kid and seeing, going back there and seeing, Mickey's house and all, all those characters' houses were just it was like a nostalgia thing, but getting probably one of the, probably the most popular ride in Magic Kingdom right now, and then adding one of the most popular restaurants worked out well for them as a business for them.
Yeah.
But I mean, yeah, because it only was, what was it? It was like basically like a Toontown, right? That's all, if I remember. So
I have like a love-hate relationship with the Seven Dwarfs Mine Train. I don't particularly care for the ride as a whole. If a genie came out of a bottle right now and allowed me to bring back Snow White's Scary Adventure over that, I think I would take that all day long. With that said, Seven Dwarfs Mine Train is aesthetically pleasing and fits the landscape nicely. It's just, and I know it's Magic Kingdom, and I know it's Disney World, and I get all that, but it just falls flat to me, that ride. I don't know. I don't know what it is. It's way too quick, first of all.
Yeah. And I think it was overhyped, I think, to be something more than it is. In this,
it's just wasted opportunities to me, because you go in the mine, mine train, and okay, you get the one indoor scene. We talked about this before, but there's no inside dark part of the ride. There's no winding, and it would be cool to be winding and going through quickly through some scenes. It just feels like a lesser version of Big Thunder Mountain to me. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, it's perfectly.
It's not awful.
I think it's perfectly fine for like a kid's first roller coaster, an introduction into a roller coaster. I don't know. It's just for us, if we don't have a fast pass for it, I'm not waiting in the line for it.
No.
I mean, we didn't even go on it. The line was outrageous the last time, so we didn't even bother. I mean, yeah.
It's a kid's first roller coaster, fine, but you still could do. There still could have been some better things done to it, and it still fall in the category of a kid's first roller coaster.
Yeah.
It's a kid's first roller coaster, so it's gonna last them 2 minutes, a minute and a half, whatever it is. I don't even know. It's not long.
No.
And then you wait forever, which I mean is still Disney's fault to a degree, even though it's popular, because when you build it, you didn't design a load system or a ride with it that could carry a decent capacity. It's just not worth it to me on any level. And
let's see, where's the ride duration? Where?
And I don't know,
well, this says it's 2 minutes and 50 seconds. Which doesn't feel that long.
No. I mean, I don't know. And with Disney, I'm always a little bit bleh about anything in Disney that's not a solid 5, 6, 7 minute ride anyway. It's kind of like their thing, at least at one point. I mean, because Everest is obviously a very short ride as well. But you can't sell me on the idea that that ride couldn't have been longer. They also plopped it in a very small space that was there, but I don't know. I guess all I can say about it is it's okay, it's quick, and it's aesthetically pleasing, and that's about it. And then the technology they used on the Dwarfs was cool at the time, and it's already starting to look outdated. The projection faces on the in my opinion anyway, on the animatronics are just, it's already a technology that's coming down.
Yeah,
Because you see the Beauty and the Beast technology, and you're like, well, why not just animate the faces properly, with actual practical.
I would think. I would think they'd be able to color it. But I mean, you can just see that difference in the color of the screen.
It looks horrible in Frozen.
Yeah, I would think they'd be able to use the computer to color it differently, but that I maybe not. I don't know, but
it's not aging well, and we're only talking what, 6 years here.
Yeah, I mean, Dopey's the only one that can get away with it because it's just his eyes through the gems. He's the only one that looks decent.
But the other ones look horrible. And on a side note, Frozen looks horrible. And if I'm not mistaken, nothing's really news been made. I would be surprised if we ever see it again.
Yeah, now that we've seen that Beauty and the Beast one, I don't think they can.
And when it malfunctions, it's even more of a disaster, obviously.
Yeah.
But anyway, about that ride. And then you get the Little Mermaid. I mean, the Little Mermaid just kind of falls into your classic Disney dark ride, tells a story. I have nothing really bad to say about it. I will say that, like, it's underwhelming. The ride's underwhelming to me, based upon how the queue is. The queue is awesome. The building that's built and everything. It makes you feel like you're gonna go into this like really good experience, and it's not a bad experience, but it's not. I mean, it's I don't know. It's Peter Pan-ish. It's got some moving parts. I mean, it's better than Peter Pan. It's nothing fancy. It's Winnie the Pooh. You know, it's
just very abrupt. At the it goes from, you see the Ursula and she takes her voice, and then they get the
ending you're talking about,
kiss the girl thing, and then all of a sudden you see Ursula in the back and they're getting married. They should, at least one more scene should have been in that, just to kind of, unless you've seen the movie, you don't really what the heck just happened.
I feel like they had an opportunity to do something really cool with the idea to make the ride, you're going underwater, and they just it just kind of fell flat in that regard. It's not even fall flat. It's just okay. It's just you're on an Omnimover.
Yeah. And
there's an effect on the back of the shell in front of you that makes you look like you go in the water. Hey, it's okay. But I mean, the animatronics are okay. They're nothing crazy. They do a good job making Ariel's hair look like it's floating and kind of giving an underwater feel. But a lot of the hidden things that you get in these attractions are kind of exposed in that ride too. You can see a lot of obviously you have to dig deep a little bit to see it, but if you're kind of looking for it, you can see where things are hooked up and where the moving parts are, which is, I understand they're not real, but usually it's done better.
Yeah.
The under the sea room is very open, and you can see.
Yeah, and they definitely set themselves up for that one too, where you loop around it. So they didn't even give themselves
but I mean
a background. You see the back of everything. Yeah,
which is unusual.
Yeah,
I don't know. I would say that it takes up. It's one of those rides. It feels like I don't know what the exact measurements and everything are on it, but it feels like it's taking a lot of space up, and it's nothing crazy. And generally, the wait times aren't that long for it.
No, and that's one of the
that's good, I guess.
Yeah, and then that's always once you burn through your 3 fast passes, if you just need a quick fast pass,
It's always
that one's always there. And because I don't think, in that sense, I don't think I've never been through, never had been through the whole queue until this last trip, because we've always just fourth fast pass, just grab it. So
sometimes I don't even grab the fast pass though, because I look over in between fast passes and I see a 10-minute wait, and I just go, and that's why I know what the queue looks like. So I just go through there, and it's like basically a fast pass anyway.
Yeah.
So I don't know. That one's just another one that's just okay to me. Like, I guess, like I said, I'm not really the target audience, so I get it. Although I am a kid at heart with that stuff, I do like the idea that Little Mermaid got a ride telling the story.
Yeah.
I think it was a good movie, and kind of kicked everything off at Disney again. When we were kids, so I'm okay with it for the most part. Can we talk about Be Our Guest for a minute? Now, popular restaurant. You've eaten dinner there?
We just had breakfast. We didn't do the dinner. We couldn't get the dinner the time we tried.
We got the dinner once. It's okay. You've done breakfast. I've done breakfast. The castle's okay. It's nice. It's cool.
Mm-hmm.
But now that I've seen the Beauty and the Beast ride, I'm like, why did we not wait to put this in there?
Mm-hmm.
And so I feel like when you have rides like Beauty and the Beast, like it's going to go down as classic. Like it's eventually going to be a classic Disney dock ride based on a classic Disney movie. And I feel like Disney World should have anything, like even like Pinocchio and things like that, those should all be at the Magic Kingdom.
Mm-hmm.
Because they're literally the embodiment of what it's all about. And I would assume we're never going to get that ride in that space and just get instead we just got a nicely themed, overpriced restaurant again.
Mm-hmm.
Where it's like $75 for breakfast for me and my father-in-law and my daughter.
It was,
Check my videos on the channel. We have a review on that. And it's like lackluster, in my opinion. I don't know what else. I mean, if you have anything to add, feel free. But I don't know much else to say about that.
Oh yeah, I mean, I think if you're a Beauty and the Beast fan, you should at least see it, because it's nice to see, but it's kind of a one and done.
Oh, let's interject right there for that point. Can they do something about? There should be like side reservations where they'll just let you go in to look at it, because some people just can't get in, and they can't even go in and see it. And I know you can't have people just rushing in to see it because it's a restaurant. Yeah. But maybe you could do a little thing where you can let some people in, like in timely fashion, so they can see this thing, because it is a cool restaurant. It is cool inside.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's so lame that you can't just like take a quick peek,
Yeah, I mean,
it's impossible to get a reservation. Like, I was just on top of my game the time we got it. Like, I booked our trip like as far out as you could book a trip, and I just made that reservation, so I finally snagged one. But yeah, it's not easy to get.
No, I think that's why we get stuck with the breakfast. That's what we could get, and Sarah wanted. She's into Beauty and the Beast, and she wanted to see it.
Fair enough.
It was a very expensive breakfast for one plate of food.
Like, so insane. Like, we deal with expensive when we go there. We get it, but that one like really sticks out in my mind as like almost unjustifiably expensive, or not almost unjustifiably expensive.
Yeah, at least if I got breakfast at like the Crystal Palace or something, but when I could eat till, my stomach was full like a pig. But that was like, I ate breakfast there, and it's like, well, I need to go get something else to eat, because that was not much. Like,
why don't you hit me with like, go ahead, hit me, the three of us, hit me with a $50 bill, okay. That's still rough, but I can take it. $75.
Yeah.
For a plate I can literally get down the road for like $5 on Tuesday special. I get it's Disney and it's what you deal with, but Jesus, that one was pretty rough.
Yeah.
But anyway, and now the final thing we'll talk about is Enchanted Tales with Belle. And here's an unpopular opinion, and it's not aimed at us, but overall, to me, maybe the best addition in Fantasyland, because for the kids, it's like it has some really cool animatronics. They get to meet Belle, which is really cool, and for them they go nuts for that. And then, the effect where you walk through the mirror is like one of the better Disney effects, I think. And have you done it?
I've never done it. I've only seen the video of it.
All right, so you've seen the effect anyway.
Mm-hmm.
And I think for your money, it's good in the sense of the kid. So you can do an attraction, you kill some time, get to see some cool effects, and you get a meet and greet.
Yeah. And
the kids get to participate. She picks kids to be part of the story and blah blah blah. So it's kind of like a sleeper attraction in my opinion. That place, and it's kind of just there, but for a young kid, for parents with a young kid, it's really good. And never crazy wait times or anything like that. So I think out of everything you got in that area, it's probably the best. Now, are we considering where the whole circus area, is that considered New Fantasyland as well?
I am not sure.
I'm not either.
I'm not sure what. No, I don't think, because the Barnstone was there before.
Yeah.
Before all this, so I don't think it is. But the only other thing I'm seeing, is Gaston's Tavern is the only other thing that's back there, but it's not an attraction in that section.
And I'm glad you brought that up because let's talk about Gaston's Tavern real quick, just because why not? I know we're in Magic Kingdom. I know no rules. Well, outside of a couple of things in sit-down restaurants, but if you're gonna have Gaston's Tavern.
Yeah, you should do.
You gotta sell a beer there.
A beer and a nice stein, yes.
It just doesn't make any sense, and it just feels kind of. If it were 1980, well, if it were before beer alcohol was prevalent in the parks, put it that way, and it just kind of meshed in with it, whatever. But now you see beer being consumed and stuff like that around pretty much every Disney park, including the Magic Kingdom to some extent. Mm-hmm. It just feels like I don't know. And how much longer? The Shape had cheesing out and everything. How much longer is they're just going to be selling beers in that park anyway?
Yeah, I think it's eventually coming. I mean, you're doing it at a restaurant. I mean, do you want to go to the extent of if you go into Gaston's Tavern, you have to consume the beer inside the tavern? Yeah. At least do that.
That's reasonable.
I mean, you can buy. I can buy
an outside seating area. You can't walk around the park.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Which I'll always understand that rule because there's definitely a different vibe at the parks where you can versus the park you can't.
Mm-hmm.
There's definitely some kind of, I don't know what it is, but there is a vibe.
Yep.
So I get what they're trying to preserve there. With that said, how do you pass up on the opportunity of selling? If you're an adult and you're not Disney geeks, the Magic Kingdom must be the most boringest thing in the world. So a lot of parents are just enduring an app for the day to get the kids through,
Yeah.
Although I still say you don't have a soul, you can't have a good time at the Magic Kingdom for at least a day. But that's neither here nor there. Anyway, that wraps that up, and that's going to wrap this up. Next week, we will do more attractions. And next week, we're going to try something a little different. We're going to have a few more people on to see if the conversation moves a little more. Not that Johnny and I can't handle it ourselves, but I just want to give it a whirl and see how it goes. So I guess we'll have 5 people on. So me, Johnny, Sarah, Sarah's friends, whom I've not met yet, and also my cousin Sarah. So I don't know if that's going to be a permanent thing, but we'll give it a whirl and just kind of see how that works out. See if I can manage the production value on all that good stuff with that. But we're going to try it. So stay tuned for that. And then the week after that is the 50th episode, which I'm excited about because wasn't quite sure I'd ever make it to 50 episodes when I started this, and we did. So that's awesome. same spiel. Please like, please subscribe if you haven't already. Check us out. We're going to be on Pandora soon, Amazon as well. So check us out on those platforms. iHeartRadio too. That's another big one that I hadn't had us plugged in on yet, but I did a little work over the course of last week, and we will be on those. But apparently those platforms, there's an extensive review period. So I think like Pandora was saying like 4 to 6 weeks. So that'll be a while. Yeah, I know, right? I'm not Amazon is some period of time. I'm not sure how much time. And same with iHeartRadio. So it may be maybe another month or so, but we will be on those platforms. Other than that, our Twitter handles are underneath us as usual. And have a good week.